You're listening to Your 40, Now What? Getting closer to early bird dinners, but still not quite ready to grow up. So hike up your pants, sip your latte, and get ready for the show. And now, the hosts of Your 40, Now What? Tach and Ron.
Tach, do you remember pencil break back in like the middle school days?
Definitely, man. Hell yeah.
I wonder if that was something that people played. And like everywhere, like was it like countrywide, worldwide, statewide, or was it just like a Kennedy
pretty sure it wasn't just
thing?
our middle school. But
I don't know. It was fun though. You just sit there and you'd hold the pencil up in your fingers, and then somebody else would try and snap their pencil. You know, like kind of pull it back and snap
with
it on there
pencil,
and see if you could break the pencil. But then some people like had these cheater pencils that were like bigger, and then you do things where you had a couple pencils you were trying to break. It was a serious deal back in the day, man.
Yeah, we should start up a new like pencil break club, like Fight Club.
Like Fight Club?
Yeah, like Fight Club.
Nah, okay, so the first thing we probably did was not to talk about it, and we just said it on a podcast.
We broke rules number 1 and 2.
All right. Let's get this thing started here, man. All right, welcome to Your 40 Now What? I am one of 2 hosts, Ron, and with me...
I am 2 of 2. I am Tach.
2 of 2. That sounds like something from Star Trek. 6 of 9.
Oh my God, you'd be excited. I was listening to a podcast that I like a lot, and it's basically a show where they watch movies that they hadn't seen since childhood, and they talk about it and see if it holds up.
Do they still hold up? Yeah, I'll do that sometimes. Not listen to that podcast, but I'll actually watch movies and see if it still holds up.
Yeah. The show's great. It's called Let's Rewatch. I love it. I'm going to have one of the chicks on there on another one of the podcast. But anyway, they just watched, of course, these are millennials, so everything's from the 90s, you know. So they just watched Star Trek. It's one of the Next Generation movies.
Movies or shows?
Movies.
Okay. Most of those, I mean, I'm a huge Next Gen fan, huge. Most of those were not phenomenal. They should have just kept making shows. But go ahead.
Well, I'm trying to remember which. I'm looking it up right now. It's First Contact.
Yeah, that was actually the best one. That wasn't officially the first one. The first one was Generations, where you had the Next Gen kind of coming in. There was Kirk and some of the others. You didn't have even all the cast. Like Spock didn't do it and things like that. But the First Contact was the one that was just them. That was actually the best one. It was an excellent movie. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, the show's good. It's got 5 hosts, but they're all millennials except one. The main guy is like our age. So he seems to know a lot more and seems to be not as millennial-ish, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do when you're a millennial? Like, I'm going to go back and watch Iron Man and see if it still holds up.
It was movies like
freaking 9 years ago, dude.
They did like a Goofy movie was one of their movies, which that's like behind our time.
What's a Goofy movie?
It's that movie with Goofy.
Like Goofy the cartoon? Oh,
yeah.
Gosh, that guy?
Gosh,
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Which I never saw that movie, but apparently it's like fantastic for Disney. As a Disney cartoon, because I guess you learn more about like Goofy and his personal life and why he's single with a son. You know,
Goofy is single with a son.
It's kind of a sad story.
This is an actual thing. You're not just screwing with me.
Hold on, I just got a text. So you feeling better?
Yeah, I'm getting there, man. I'm not all the way. This flu stuff has really kicked my butt, but I'm getting there, man. So, what are we talking about today, boss?
Well, as we promised on episode 2, that we were definitely going to discuss discovering your mortality.
Yeah, starting to sense it. I think we discovered it from the day we were born, but you don't really.
True, but you're not really that aware.
At a certain age, and not everybody our age has even really caught up on that. Because I have some friends in their early 40s, like our age, that isn't even anything they think about, but starting to sense your own mortality, to realize, holy crap, I am going to. Because when you're 20, you don't think about that. I mean, honestly, at least I didn't. Unless something happens in your life to make you think about that, a near-death experience, critical illness, something like that.
I even had one of those. I had like that horrible car accident I was in.
Yes,
but I still never really,
You feel,
Yeah, sure,
you
I
almost
was
feel a little
more
bit
appreciative.
Invincible, and when you're in your teens, your 20s, and it was somewhere probably in my mid 30s that I started to realize, man, I'm not going to be on this earth forever. I wonder how long I'm actually going to live. When am I going to die? I mean, all this sounds really morbid, but I feel like it's a way that many of us our age, that these things start to creep into our head. But how do we let it affect our lives, and how much do we kind of live our life around these thoughts, or how much do we even think about it? Like, how much do you actually think about it?
Oh God. It definitely started somewhere around 40, about a year or two ago, maybe.
So even a little later for you than for me, because I was probably
Mine
more
started around
37,
40.
38, and I started kind of thinking about it.
But I don't think mine was so much, because I think it was a little bit about turning 40, but I was also going through a lot of different things at the time. Like, for instance, I had just gone through, my mother had passed away like 2.5 years ago from cancer. And so I basically was dealing with that every single day and just watching her die. And so that kind of, I got kind of like a PSTD from that. PTSD, excuse me.
Okay.
PTSD.
Yeah, I guess I
from
could say
that.
that. I don't know much about PTSD, but I'm guess it used to be that people would think that was only something you really got from war, but it's just something you get from
No, you can get it
stressful
from anything.
situations, I assume.
Yeah. And so that, dealing with me being single and living alone, basically, I get my kids every other weekend or whatever, summers, things like that, Christmas break. But I spent a lot of time alone. That really kind of makes you think and I started to like freak out, and like, I one night I even had as far as like a panic attack, and I didn't even know that's what it was. I thought I was like dying, I couldn't breathe. And then of course me feeling like I can't breathe made me freak out even more. I'm thinking, holy shit, do I need to call 911? Like, am I dying right now? Like, and like I can die and be dead here and nobody would know for a day or two if it was my days off from work, I wouldn't undiscovered for days, and, so, it's just, I just started freaking out, and it would like make me panic. And I mean, it's not as bad now as it was like a year or so ago, but I still think about it every single day. Like every day I think I could die today. I don't know how. As far as health goes, I'm healthy as far as I know, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to get wiped out in a car accident on the way to work.
You stop living. That's how, Tach. I'm just kidding. I don't think about it as like, I could die today. I'm more, it's a curiosity of when and how. Like, is it going to be 55 of a heart attack? Is it going to be 95 of old age? It's more the not knowing thing I don't like. But then on the other hand, would I want to know? Only if I'm really old. Only if it's like, here's when you're going to die. You're going to be 98 and you're just going to die of old age. I'm like, sweet. But if you all of a sudden you handed me this card and it said, oh yeah, you're going to die at 47 of a, train wreck. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh God.
Well, maybe if it was like a train wreck, I'm like, I ain't getting on no trains at 47.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, you have a feeling I would end up on that train.
Or you may not be on the train at all. You may just get hit by a train.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I didn't say
could
you were on the
derail
train. You were just
while
at
you're
the
sitting
railroad
at a
tracks and it
stoplight.
derailed when you were at a stoplight or something.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm not driving over any
like-
railroad tracks until I'm 48.
I know. I think about even just like, okay, so if I died at say 65, like that's an age to where people go, okay, he did all right. 65 is not bad. It's still young. Yeah, you and I think that's still young. But
I think that in my mind, in your 60s is young to pass away. Like, I know Bill Paxton just passed away. In his early
61.
60s?
Yeah.
61. To me, that just seems.
No, definitely 60 is
in this day
not
and age
that
of
old
people
anymore.
living into their 90s. And actually, that's funny. I didn't look this up for the podcast, but some fun facts. There's over 53,000 people in the United States, or they're called centenarians, meaning they're over 100 years old. There's over 53,000 people in the U.S. alone over 100 years old.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Wow,
I was
didn't know.
surprised by that number. The oldest person in the world is 117, and she is the last person left on Earth who was born in the 1800s.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think I was telling you that
Well,
yesterday. I don't know. It's
well,
funny
my
that I
point was,
didn't actually
like-
look that up for this podcast, but I just thought I was just kind of curious. Again, why am I curious? Because my thoughts are, well, how long will I live? How long will I be here? How long can people live? Hey, let's look up who the oldest is. Let's shoot for that. It's 117.
Well,
that
yeah,
sounds
like,
good.
well, my point was, like, if I died in 20 years, like, I feel like that's not enough time.
No.
You know, like,
No,
I
gotta be
remember
at least
20 years
I
ago,
gotta be
like,
at
that
least
doesn't seem
80.
that long ago. And I have so much more I want to do and accomplish. And I'm still a kid, you know, and that freaks me out to know that I feel like I'm running out of time now to do all the shit that I wanted to do and accomplish. There's still so much I still want to accomplish and do.
I agree. Now, do you have plans or thoughts of like what are the things? Do you have like a list of here's the things I want to do before I
Well, it's
die?
not like a bucket list
kind
so
of
much.
thing?
It's more like I'm a filmmaker, but I want to start shooting a lot more films. I want to get them out there. I want to do stuff. I want to hit, like film festivals. I want to do that. I want to do a lot more with this podcast and the other podcasts. I want to do. There's just so much things like that I want to still do and accomplish, and So I mean, I don't know. There's just tons of shit.
Understood. And then I'm just starting to realize I've been kind of living life day to day, and I haven't really set any goals for myself until kind of even recently. And I've actually been getting into the writing thing and trying to write. And it's funny. It's weird because I was never even into books years ago. I didn't read books. I never thought about writing. And now all of a sudden I'm really kind of into that. And I've been trying to do this writing thing. So now I have some goals that I want to do there. And that's been kind of driving me. And I've actually liked that and enjoyed that. But because I didn't really have that. I was just kind of living life every day. Go to work, come home,
It's called the daily grind.
I'm sorry, the daily grind. The daily grind had kind of taken away any goals for me. And I realized when I have those goals, I actually feel better about the mortality thing. I think the mortality thing was freaking me out more when I didn't really have goals, aspirations, and things like that. I didn't have things like, I want to do these things, this, that, and the other. So that's actually helping me more. So maybe that's kind of the key.
Shit.
See if you get into that. But if you're not doing anything with those, like if they're just sitting there as projects in your brain and you're not even attempting them, I have a feeling that has a tendency to weigh more on your whole sense of mortality. I'm just guessing at this right now, but for me, that's the way it seemed to be. I'm thinking about it less now that I'm actually kind of working towards these goals. Like I'm not just thinking about, I want to do some writing. Like I'm actually doing writing. Like writers write, you know what I mean? And if I'm going to be a writer, I got to write. And that's my thing. Like for you, it's the movie thing. Like sometimes you'll be doing it, and then sometimes you get way off kilt and you're not doing anything.
Like I have to be
you're waiting for other
productive
people and things like that. So it's just
I can't say that's another thing too. When I was going through my freaking out about death at that time, I wasn't doing anything productive. Like I'm very artsy. I have to be creative. I have to create all the freaking time. Whether it's doing this podcast with you, it's creating. It's going through and editing it, doing the post thing, doing the adding music, doing that. You hear the show. Putting all that together, like I have to be creative all the time. And if I'm not doing that, I freak out and I don't like it.
Freak out how?
Well, that's what I mean. I start thinking about death. I start thinking,
if I'm not podcasting, I'm just thinking about death.
Well, not just podcasting, but like working on editing something or working on music. I'm also a musician, writing and recording music. And, if I'm not doing any of that stuff, I'm freaking out. And I just will sit on the couch and keep it from floating up into the ceiling. And I can't keep doing that day after day. Which is what my life was like a year or two ago. And literally was driving me crazy.
So I definitely think that that's really the key to kind of driving past that then for anybody. And then some people don't even have these thoughts, but maybe those people don't have those thoughts because they are immersed in projects and they have passions and they have goals and they still have aspirations. Keep those alive and you won't think about death as much.
I definitely concur. And also I was single too. And ever since I got with my girlfriend's been occupying my mind more, and it's a distraction.
More than your mind, brother.
Yeah, so I'm not stuck alone in my my negative thoughts and morbid brain. So Which is kind of interesting because that's one of the first things that me and my girlfriend bonded on was because she's the same way. She thinks about death all the time too. She freaks out about it, And that's one of the first things we started bonding about was that whole experience and going through that. And we both agreed since her and I have been together, it's waned quite a bit. So
Nice.
Yeah,
All right, man.
it was nice.
Let's take a little break here.
Okay.
And when we come back, we will talk about something a lot more uplifting and fun.
Oh, that sounds good.
All right, we'll be back in
Yay.
just a minute.
All right.
Village Idiot Pub. You locals know about it. You guys from out of town have to check them out.
Village Idiot Pub is proud to sponsor Your 40 Now What podcast.
Tach and Ron from Your 40 Now What seem to have found a perfect sponsor. A pub with over 30 beers on tap, including ciders, as well as hundreds of bottle choices.
You forgot my favorite, all the delicious wine. So get your friends together and enjoy the board games, puzzles, and the giant Jenga.
Let the owner Jason, as well as the rest of the staff there, take excellent care of your beer drinking needs. Tuesday is open mic, Wednesday is trivia, Thursday is karaoke, Friday and Saturday night are live music.
Visit them at 4 Harrison Street, Suite 103, Cocoa, Florida, or Village Idiot Pub on Facebook. And don't forget, they are a dog-friendly location, so bring your friends, family, and fur babies.
And we're back.
You don't do it as good as me. No, I'm just kidding.
we talked about in the last episode because that's how you did it, coming back. And I was like, oh, we can do that because Adam won't get mad. And it's like I was like, we should do it every time. And you're like, no.
No.
So,
But yet we keep doing it because you can't help yourself.
But yet here we are.
Yet here we are. All right, man. So what are we talking about this segment?
So in this segment, I'd like to discuss, what are some things that you feel like you're too old to do, and maybe things that we're definitely too young to do. Does that make any sense?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
For instance, just like our intro says, early bird specials. Like we don't go out to supper. Like we don't do supper. We do dinner still.
So here's the
We're not
thing,
eating
though.
supper at 4:00.
I'm gonna say something. Yes, I don't eat dinner at 4:00, but I'm kind of feeling like the dinner time is creeping down a bit.
What time do you normally eat dinner? I mean, assuming you're not stuck at work and hitting a drive-through at 11 o'clock at night.
I'll be honest with you. Like today, I'm off, and my wife is gonna go play bunco. That's
what?
some old people shit right there, right? No, you know what?
She's going to go play canasta with the ladies.
Gonna go play canasta and bridge with the girls from the Red Hat Club. No, I was kidding. But she's gonna go play bunco. She hasn't played for a while, so dinner's on me, and I'm gonna make spaghetti tonight. And I kind of like. I guess maybe it's more my meal habits. I'm kind of a 2-meal guy. I'd like to eat something kind of a late breakfast and then kind of a somewhat early dinner. And I'd be down
so you
for
eat
that.
brunch and supper. That's what you do.
Brunch and supper. Yeah, brunch and supper. So today, honestly, my natural thing is I'll have dinner at least starting to cook by 5 o'clock.
Oh, when the kids are here, I cook at 5. Yeah.
Okay, so
we
that's
have dinner
not
around
crazy.
6.
Yeah, but when we were younger and we would go out to eat or even make dinner, like I was sometimes eating dinner. I was eating my Tostitos pizza and my Hot Pocket, which was my common dinner at 20, 21, 22.
Yeah.
I was eating that shit at like 9 o'clock.
Well, yeah, it's way different when you're young.
But that's what I'm saying. So I'm creeping. I mean, I've come down like 4 hours in my 3.5 hours in my eating time. I mean, it's only a matter of 10 years before I'm eating dinner at 4:30. And I'm in bed by 8. Let's face it.
Yeah. Because I guess like as you get older, I guess old people get up super early, which I do that now. So you're talking breakfast at 5 a.m. And then, of course, assuming they're eating 3 meals a day, then you're probably hungry again by 11.
At least, yeah,
your
definitely.
lunch.
You're having the ham sandwich, and it's not even the sliced ham. It's the ham you got from the ham you made last night, the chunky ham. and you're throwing some lettuce on there on the rye bread. You don't eat white bread anymore.
Oh God, I hate rye bread.
See, I really like white bread, rye bread.
Oh my God,
So,
this is the worst tasting thing
ham on
ever.
whole wheat, all right, and little Weird Al there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Sure,
got your
H.
chunky ham. See, I'm just imagining. All I'm doing right now is just replaying my childhood and watching my grandfather and the way sandwiches he would eat versus the stuff that I would eat now. That's really all I'm doing right now. So just bear with me, folks. And you got that, and you can throw some lettuce on there, maybe some tomato. I don't even like tomato, and mustard, not mayonnaise, probably. And that's your 10:30, 11 o'clock lunch.
Yeah, and then come dinner time, or excuse me, supper time, you're hungry by 4, so.
See, I always thought that dinner was your 6 o'clock regular dinner, and supper was your second dinner. So that's what I thought.
Oh,
I thought
supper
it was.
you feel is later? Oh,
I thought that
always figured
supper was your second dinner.
Well,
At
I
like
just say that
10:30, 11
because-
at night, you get up that like midnight snack almost kind of thing. That's like your supper. Do I have that
Well,
wrong?
I just said supper because that's an old people term, and old people eat dinner early, so.
Wonder if we Googled, and with the power
Let's
of
Google.
editing, we can pause it. I'll Google it right now. Give me a second here. Lunch is almost the midday equivalent of supper. It's also a lighter and less formal meal than dinner, but it is used specifically when referring to a midday meal. So you are correct. Supper is an
Okay.
early midday meal. So whether you use lunch/dinner or dinner/supper is heavily determined by when your culture traditionally has its largest meal. Oh, so if your largest meal in your culture is middle of the day, like lunch, like late lunch, that's considered supper. Understood.
Gotcha.
They even give you a map here of where people are more likely to have supper versus.
What's Florida look like?
Florida's actually not as
I
filled
think
up
it's
as
more
you
of like a
think.
northern thing, like Illinois.
It
and
is almost like the what do they call it, the Mason-Dixon line.
yeah.
Like the Mason-Dixon line, everything from the river
Georgia?
to the east is just filled, and everything west is like nothing. This looks like a Verizon coverage map or something.
Gotcha.
Anyway, that we got way involved in that. So let's come off the old people supper shit,
Yeah,
and let's
yeah.
go to the stuff that
So
we're
that's
too
something we're
old
too young for. So what are we too old for?
No, we just talked about stuff we're too young for. 4 o'clock supper. Let's
that's
go
what
to
I'm saying.
too old
Yeah.
for.
Too old for.
Going to the club.
Going to the club. Fuck going to clubs, man. I'm done
See,
with
I
that
still
shit.
want to go, but I don't fit anymore, man. Not that I ever really fit. Let's face it. But-
It's not like you don't fit. Like there's old people that go to clubs.
yeah,
but
exactly. And you used to make fun of those people, and they were only like 40. That's the point.
yeah, but you're not 50.
But okay, let's face it. When we were 20, and we used to hit like downtown Orlando or something. Did you and I ever even go to downtown Orlando back in the day?
No.
Where would we go? Well, you and I didn't
I've
really
never
go to
really
clubs.
gone to
You
downtown
and I went
Orlando.
to strip clubs. That's a different
we
world
went to-
because
we
there's
went to
all
titty
kinds of
bars.
old people at strip clubs. So we're not talking about it. We're talking about regular clubs. So if we went to clubs, like you went, I used to go to downtown Orlando quite a bit.
I used to go to Jackson. I lived
And
in
you
Jacksonville.
lived in Jacksonville, so
at
you
the
went to
time.
Jacksonville. When we were 20, 21, whatever, and you went to a club, if somebody was in there at like 40, 45, I mean, we looked at them like an old person.
Yeah, but I don't feel that we look our age. Like, I don't think so. I mean, I have people tell me all the time. They swear I'm like in my 20s. I had somebody tell me, I thought you were like 25 years old. So
Really, look at that receding hairline, dude. You need to be realistic.
I don't have
with
a
yourself.
receding
No, I'm just
hairline.
kidding. I'm looking at you on Skype right now. I mean, come on, let's be real here. You got to stop kidding yourself that you look 20s. No,
I
dude, I'm
don't
just
say
kidding.
that.
You do look youthful. How about me, buddy? Let's talk about me. How do
I don't
look?
peg you for.
I don't look a
40 at
day over
all.
39, right?
No. If I had to guess your age, honestly, I would probably. I'm very biased though because I've known you since you were
Yeah,
like
I
12
still look
years
12
old.
to
So
you, don't I?
well, not 12. If I had to honestly guess, I would say probably early 30s.
Okay,
maybe.
we think that. Now, I challenge you to go back and look at pictures of yourself like when you were in your 20s because they're out there.
I look like I was 15. in
Yes,
my 20s.
exactly. But that's the thing is we definitely look older, but we looked. I know when I was like 25, I looked 15. So I always had a very youthful look. If I lost weight, it would probably help. I think being
That's what
heavier
I've always
makes
said
me
too.
look a little
yeah.
older, probably.
Yeah, I
Closer
think
to
being
my
heavier
age.
makes everybody look a little older.
If I drop,
If
like
we were to
50
drop
pounds,
down
I
to
would
like a
look younger.
32-inch waist, I think it would make us look much, much younger.
Yeah, I think too, because I think a lot of times with guys our age, as if we're not heavy into the health and fitness stuff, we'd have a tendency to pack on a few pounds. So I think it kind of naturally goes with perception of age and weight.
Yeah.
You know what? Interesting, and this is really off subject, but why not? I was at a doctor just for a normal, like regular checkup visit, and I don't know how the conversation came up. Well, the conversation probably came up about weight. He said that a lot of times his patients who are older, they'll get to a certain age where their body just stops craving calories and they start eating like maybe 1,000 calories a day just naturally because they just don't need it anymore.
Wow.
And they just start losing weight. And it was just like he always wondered what is wrong with this person? Do I need to check them for cancer? Do they have like some kind of disease? What's going on? And he just kind of started to realize, and he said it wasn't really something talked about in medical terms. It's just something he's noticed as a physician for years, that you get to a certain age and you stop craving those calories as much, you stop eating as much, and you just start dropping weight. He goes, talk to me. Tell me how many 75, 85-year-old people walking around are overweight. How many do you see? He goes, it's not very common. Most of them are very skinny, right? And I was like, yeah. I was like, can you give me a pill to make that happen like now? And of course he laughed. A little off topic, but I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, so as far as like the clubs, like I have zero interest in going to any kind of club. Like, well, I used to work in a club in my 20s too, and I get tired of hearing that. Like it gets old fast. And
okay, so if you
like I do like going to like bars and watching local bands play local music.
So that was
like,
going to be my
enjoy
question.
that.
So we're in our 40s now. So what are we supposed to do? We're not going to 4:30 dinners, and we're not going to clubs. So what's our entertainment? If you and I like, hey, I'm going to go out with Tach. Tell my wife, hey, me and Tach are going out. We're going to go hang out. I'm just going to hang out. And
so like a dive bar.
Yeah. So you're thinking a bar. That's our
bar that has
thing.
like a jukebox and maybe karaoke or something.
Like what kind of bar though? Like I want to see some people. I want some local color. Are we going to see people our age, or are we going to see 20-somethings?
A great example. One of our sponsors, the Village Idiot Pub in Cocoa Village, is a great example of that kind of a bar atmosphere. What's cool about it, if you like games, they have tons of games all over the bar you can play. Everything from like giant Jenga to like a giant like Connect 4 to board games just laying around, and plus they just have like tons of beer, different kind of beers on tap. Like I think they have 40 taps.
Is this like a live read we're doing right now?
Kind of, but not really. But I'm just saying, like, it's a nice bar. Like I really enjoyed it when I've gone, and it's a great atmosphere. And I don't know, that's like a perfect kind of bar for people our age, And plus, it's dog friendly. So if you have a little dog, you can bring your dog in.
Okay. So we're really just going to be kind of hunting down bars with people our age, but not clubs. We can't go dancing anymore when we're 40.
Well, you can.
But so where are you going to go?
Any interest?
Where?
Any club. You can go to any club
and look like an idiot, being 40-something years old.
If that's what you choose to do, I
want to go dancing
then...
and not look like a moron. Is there any place to go? Like, is there any clubs for 40-something?
So you want to go dancing? You want us to go dancing one night?
Yes, I want to go dancing with you, Tach.
Express yourself through the art of dance.
Yes.
Well, I don't know what ballroom dancing. I feel like we're too young for that.
No, I want to shake my booty dancing.
You want to shake? Okay.
White boy style. What was it? White man's overbite.
Oh yeah. You have to have. Yeah, you got to bite your bottom lip, and then.
And my hands kind of up in the air.
Hands got to go in the air. You got to raise the roof. I think is still a term.
I'm sure it's still a term. Nice.
I don't know.
So groovy is still a term.
I have zero interest, so I haven't looked into it. So
okay. Well, anyway. So I think we've established the parameters of clubs, no. Early bird dinners, no. Bars till like what? So what time are we hanging out till? So you're going out. What time are you hanging out till?
There's the rub.
Yes, that's exactly it. Are we packing it in by 10, 11 at the latest? Or are we trying to at least push this to midnight before we hit, go to bed?
I think it all depends. Last time I went out to a bar, which I don't go out very often. I don't drink very often. Well, last time I went to the bar, I really didn't drink anything. And just hung out. But Depends. Like, first of all, I'll never go out if I have to be up early the next morning.
Yeah, that's true.
I've been like that since
dude,
even in my 20s.
You and I
like
used to. We would go out, and we would be out till like 3 a.m. and like I would have to be to work at like 5.
Yeah. But
that was brutal.
I'll never
even
do
then.
that. But
Cannot do that anymore.
even like I used to go out a lot more, say 5 years ago. I used to go out a lot. And I would still be out till closing the bars and stuff like that.
Look at you, buddy.
That was 5 years ago. And I used to give, and my friends I was hanging out with were always like probably, I don't know, probably 8 to 10 years younger than me, you know? And they would like make fun of me, like, oh, you're tired. I'm like, motherfuckers, like when you get to my age, you do what I'm doing and see if you can handle it.
You can handle this.
Yeah, it hasn't even been 10 years yet, and they all, like, none of them go out anymore.
Exactly.
They're all, like, at home and,
See, I go out, on the rare occasion I go out anymore, which is almost never. By like 10:30, 11, I'm tired. Like, I'm tired and I want to go home. Could you imagine if all of a sudden we could go back in time and be ourselves at 20? And be like, I don't know what's going on, man, but it's like 11 o'clock at night and I feel great. Let's go do something. You know, that's like, I kind of feel like that's how it would be. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's been, over a decade since I've been out at a bar and just hammered and being loud. It's probably been at least 10, 12 years since I've done that.
Nice.
And I definitely need to. I haven't done it in so long.
Yeah, I was just going to say, should we at our age kind of bring ourselves back every once in a while and be 20-something again? Just kind of go out.
I think
you don't have to work
okay.
the next day. You're off or whatever. You just go out. You just get destroyed at a bar or something somewhere, and maybe you kind of wobble over to the club or something. You know,
assuming you got a ride home or an Uber or something. Yeah.
Assuming that we're going to be safe, of course.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that we should do at our age here and there. But you can't. If you're still doing that every night and you're in your 40s, I question that.
Even doing that every night in your 20s, that's not good.
Oh, but it was more common.
I could
in your
never
20s.
drink more than once a week. Like I've seen people get hammered like 2 days in a row. Like, oh God, how can you do that?
Yeah, I don't get hammered 2 years in a row. But
yeah, me either. I haven't been drunk in probably 3 years at least.
Noise.
And even back then when I was drunk, I wasn't even that drunk. I was just buzzed a little bit.
Anything else
so
you could think
been
about?
Good 5-6 years. Huh?
Anything else you think about that's kind of, things we're too young for, things we're too old for? What about like these old people clubs? I don't know. They have different
What's an
stuff.
old people club?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of think about book clubs.
Like a bingo
being
hall?
Old people. I know a lot of older people that like they have book clubs. And I mean, obviously, shuffleboard. Actually, by the way, if you've never played shuffleboard, that game is fun as hell. But just doesn't take a lot of physical thing, Or what about now? Here's something that you can do at the age of 20 or at the age of 80: a card night, like a night where you get together maybe once a week and play some cards.
Man. I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Now,
I
it's
can't
not
get
something
anybody to do
but
it.
That's kind of timeless, if you will, right? So that's
Yeah,
something you can
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of do
definitely.
throughout, no matter how long. You can have like every other Thursday night. The boys play cards or whatever.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yes,
I'm down with that.
Yeah, sounds like fun. All right,
It does. Like I would love to do that, but nobody I know like loves to do that kind of stuff. Like one mutual friend we have, like he hates games of any kind, won't play any games. My girlfriend also hates games, won't play any kind of game.
See,
Zero
I'll play
interest.
certain games. There's certain games I don't like. I don't like, and this is my personal thing. I don't like, and this is gonna sound funny because I'm a writer, if you want to call me that, or I don't really consider myself a writer. I just enjoy writing. I cannot play, for whatever reason, games very well that involve any kind of word shit. Scrabble or there's a few others that I just it's one where they roll a letter S and you have to, and here's your subject. You have to think of 10 words of that I suck at those games. I don't know why. So those games I really hate.
Categories,
yes. Games like that. But I like to play games. Like I'll play Monopoly. I'll play Sorry. I'll play cards.
Yeah, I love that shit. Me and the kids do that kind of stuff all the time. We're always playing board games. But I want like a night to play like, whether we're playing like spades or playing poker or something like that, I'm down with that. And secondly, don't sell yourself short there, buddy. Remember, you wrote articles. You're a published author, so you're a writer.
Oh, that is true.
So-
I forget about the sports writing. I don't even think about that because I'm trying to get more of the fiction stuff. I forgot about all the sports writing. That is true. All right, man. Well, actually, that was a bit of a segue into our next topic. And when we come back, we're going to talk about actual like video games, gaming, and where we're at that at our age.
Sounds good, man.
All right, we'll be right back.
Haley is bored. Bored with life and endlessly looking for a purpose and her place in the universe. She knows there's more out there than working 9 to 5. She never imagined going on one job interview would change everything and open doors she never knew existed. Ancient family journals, 2 friends, and an irresistible bloodlust to deal with. Turns out being a vampire isn't as sexy as she thought it would be. Between the monster, late-night bloodbaths, and a vengeful ex-love of her man, it keeps her busy. But it doesn't have to be this way. Does it? Should she live free and forever without responsibilities? Or will she find the direction she's been looking for? One thing she does know is that she will fight for what she wants and create the perfect life without traditional vampire restrictions. And she won't let anyone or anything get in her way. Order your copy of the novel First Generation Book 1 by Zoe Emerson on Amazon. Available on paperback and Kindle. For more information, go to zoeemerson.com.
All right, everybody, we are back, and we are now going to talk about gaming, video gaming specifically. Where are you at with that, Tach? Have you kept up with the gaming? Are you?
I think so.
How much are you playing? How much time do you really get?
I think I've been keeping up. I'm a little behind, but I'm a PS4 guy, PS3, PS4, PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I do. Kind of cliche, but I do love the Call of Duties. I do play online, not as much.
Why is that cliche? I mean, that's keeping up.
Because a lot of people like that, and people are like, you play Call of Duty, shocking, But it's just a popular game, and a new one comes out like every November, pretty much. And it's the same game over and over, but it's new maps, and that's what's really important. I enjoy that. I love the new Grand Theft Auto is freaking amazing. Grand Theft Auto 5. Oh my God.
I just don't get into those games at all. I just don't understand.
Because you can do anything on Grand Theft Auto.
But every time I'm walking around, all I've ever done is just run people over and punch hookers. I just don't get it. I just don't get it at all.
That is so GTA 4 or GTA 3. That's so San Andreas. But with the new one, I say new one, but it's like 2 or 3 years old now. But that one literally had the largest budget of any video game ever in history.
Which one?
Like that GTA 5. And the game is amazing because you can do pretty much anything on that game. Think of anything you can do in a video game. Go ahead, try me, and I guarantee you can do it in Grand Theft Auto.
Because my brain goes there, have sex with someone.
Well, yeah, you can have sex with hookers, of course.
Does it have to be hookers? Can I just meet a girl in a bar?
No, because you can get a girlfriend. At least you couldn't. See,
can I have one-night stands with people I don't have to pay for?
I don't think. Okay.
Can I have? Can I be a guy and have sex so much? Can I have sex with a guy?
San Andreas. That one had it to where you got a girlfriend. You had to build a relationship. You had sex with her.
Can a guy have sex with a guy?
Ooh, good one. Oh, well, there is a couple of scenes where a guy does rape another dude.
Okay. And ahead of that, can we head to the pet store and buy some gerbils? Is this part of the game?
Okay, so maybe you can't buy gerbils. I'm sorry, you can't.
See,
I was
this game
thinking
is
more along
bogus,
the lines
man.
of
No, just
think of a
just
game,
kidding,
a
dude.
gaming option, or maybe, I really like old 8-bit style.
Can I
video
go to
game.
an
Can
airport
I do that
and,
in
like,
Grand Theft Auto?
Can I go to an airport and like commandeer a plane
Yes, of course. Yes.
or a helico flopper?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Could
Can
you
I
play an
go to
8-bit
different
video
cities?
game in GTA 5?
Can you go?
Absolutely, you can.
Can you go to different cities? Like I'm in San Fran, I want to go to New York.
Yeah. The whole map is huge. What's great about GTA 5 is what they didn't do with any of the other GTAs is like, let's say you're driving somewhere in Grand Theft Auto world, and if you drive really fast, it takes a while for the map to load up ahead down the road. So it may look blank for a second, and then all of a sudden it catches up,
Okay.
Whereas now GTA 5, you had to download the entire map onto your console. So now there's no more lagging as far as like your surrounding, atmosphere and
Man, that must
the
take up a
world.
lot of space though.
It takes like a good couple of hours just to download that entire map too.
Okay.
So anyway, I like that game a lot. I'm really looking forward to Red Dead Redemption 2, which is basically Call of Duty but in like the Old West.
Okay.
So it's made by the same people.
So it's it's an
Rockstar.
online multiplayer?
They didn't have it in the first one because that thing wasn't a thing yet. And Grand Theft Auto does have online multiplayer too, but that's brand new. With
Well,
5.
you had just mentioned that the game you were talking about, what is it called? Red Dead?
Red Dead Redemption.
Okay. That you said it was like Call of Duty, but when I think of Call of Duty, I think
I'm sorry. I said Call of Duty, didn't I? I'm sorry. I meant Grand Theft Auto. It's
okay, 'cause
basically
I
Grand
think of
Theft
a
Auto, but
online
in the
multiplayer.
1800s.
Okay.
Yeah. It's basically Grand Theft Auto in 1880 something. So,
Cool.
and
cool.
yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. The first one was awesome. And so I'm looking forward to the second one coming out soon. I don't know when. But there's a few games that I like. Like I'm not really like there's not tons of games that I love. I'm very specific on what kind of games I like. Like I hate RPGs. Like any kind of role playing game, I can't stand that shit.
Okay. What
Like where you
about
have to do, like, a
like in real
shitload of
life? Like would
reading?
you play like I'm getting ready to purchase Dungeons and Dragons, like actual Dungeons and Dragons, not a video game, and start playing with my daughter because she just seems like that's something she would like to do.
You're not
and
talking video games.
Yeah, I know we're talking about video games, but that's why I'm asking when you say RPG, you don't like RPG. You mean video game RPGs or any kind, even board games?
Oh, well, video game, I'm at video game RPGs
Okay.
I can't stand. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons before, like the actual board game
Me
stuff.
neither. Me neither. I'm just trying to do something
And
else.
I've
with my
had
daughter,
friends that have done it. Actually, funny story if we got time.
We got time.
Quick story. Okay. Yeah, going back to Dungeons and Dragons, my first time I ever like really saw anything like that. Like I'd always heard about it growing up, but never played it. Never had zero interest. I mean, I didn't have any interest. So when I was in boot camp, I was in the Navy. Sundays were usually kind of free days, somewhat to some extent, and so
In,
I was talking
in
to-
boot camp, Sundays were free?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
even know you
yeah.
had that boot camp.
not
Okay.
free day to where you can go do whatever. You still had shit you had to go do,
Yeah,
but it wasn't as busy.
Understood.
So there was the only days where we had any kind of downtime, where we may had a couple hours where we didn't have to do anything. So people can just sit around the barracks and just kind of BS with each other for a little while. And so a friend of mine was saying, hey, me and a couple of guys are over there playing like D&D or whatever. I was like, you should come over and check it out. I'm like, I don't know anything about this. He's like, it's all right. Just come over. I'll show you. I'm like, all right. So I went over there and think of it like prison. Like that's how boot camp is like prison. And you're trying to find your group.
Okay.
Do you want to hang out with the white supremacists or do you want to be,
Nice.
So I'm trying to find my place. And so I'm sitting down and then the guy that invited me over, he's like I guess dungeon master is what it's called, I guess.
Okay.
So he's like, okay, everybody. And there's probably like 5-6 guys around him. Okay, so I've created this world. And he starts describing the world and talking about magic and spells. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this shit?
Noise.
I'm like, holy crap. And I was just like, I slowly just kind of backed away out of there and stepped away. I really don't have any interest. Not that if my kids were into it, I would definitely sit down and hear like what it's about because I don't really know much about it, to be honest with you.
I was just thinking about giving it a try.
Well, sure, why not?
Something my daughter and kind of get her off the computer because my kids are such computer kids.
Mine too. They're huge and yeah.
It's just that age.
YouTube and video games and yeah, that's the life over here when I have them Yeah.
So
I watched tons of YouTube like all weekend. I'm going to have them here.
So for me, as far as the video game thing, it's just kind of like, obviously I played when I was young. I had a Sega Genesis. I mean, I had a Nintendo. Let's start with that. I had an Atari.
We start with Atari, dude.
When I was super young. Then I got a
Yeah.
Nintendo, like an actual NES. Then I got a Sega Genesis. Then
Never had that.
I don't know. I never had a PS1, but I had access to
I did.
PS1 and PS2. Like just about everybody I knew had one when I was in my early 20s. Then I got a PS2 in like 05. It was a little old. It was a little late then, but it was well before PS3 was out.
That's actually about when I got the PS2. Was around.
Yeah,
that
it was like
time.
05,
a little late
06.
too.
I got a PS2, and
Yeah.
me and my kids. Well, my daughter was a little young for it, but my son was old enough then to play some stuff. He was probably, well, it was 05, and so he was like 5 at the time. So he would play some, and then as I got older, I lost interest. Oh yeah, there was a time between that in my early 20s that I was doing a lot of online gaming. I was playing like some of the first multiplayer games that were really played in Counter-Strike and Team Fortress. Now I was playing on dial-up, and you could back then because not a lot of people had a DSL, and almost nobody had any kind of back. And we're talking like back in we're probably going late 90s to 2000, somewhere in there, like 16 years ago, 17 years ago. We're talking about some of the original multiplayer, like online multiplayer games. Like now it's a huge thing. Obviously, Call of Duty being one of the biggest in the world. But there's tons of others now. But Team Fortress, I played a lot of Team Fortress 2. I was obsessed with that game. And then I got a PS2, and I played that for a while. And then I got out of the video game deal forever. Got a Wii when in about maybe 09, 08. But it wasn't for me. It was for the kids. I played a little bit, and sometimes we bring some people over. We do some bowling and stuff. But mostly I wasn't game. Like, people were starting to move on to maybe PS3 by now. Or, I think, when did PS3 come out? I mean, it was a while ago now.
That's probably around the same time.
Like maybe 2010, 2009, 2010, somewhere in there maybe, possibly.
I think it might have been like 8 or 9.
Yeah, something like that.
somewhere.
Okay, so people were like, and I was starting to lose track of regular video games. Like gaming was passing me by. It really was. And I went forever and then just didn't. And then my kids kind of went into computer gaming and got away from console gaming. And then I was just out of gaming altogether. I actually have my PS2. I actually had it plugged in. I plugged it in a little while ago, just trying to play some games. Like when I say a little while ago, like a month ago. I don't turn on the Wii anymore. Probably haven't turned that thing on in a couple years. But I decided a year and a half ago I wanted an Xbox. I wanted to get back into gaming. And man, I tried. I really tried. But it's like I tried to play the online stuff. And it's so hard for me now. It's ridiculous because I lost my skill. I went years without playing. And all the games got so much harder. And it got so annoying about how long it takes to even start a freaking game and all the stuff you have to do to set up. And it's like, this is ridiculous. I like to plug and play. I just want to plug it in and start and play.
It's worth it.
So I sold the Xbox this past November.
Yeah.
And I bought, or my wife bought for me for Christmas, something called Retron 5. Do you know what that is?
No, I have no idea what that is.
So Retron 5 is made out of China, probably, by a company called Hyperlink, I think is the name of the company. And it's a console that allows you to play old cartridges. So I have in my hands a console that allows me to plug in old NES, SNES, Sega Genesis, Famicom. Do you know what Famicom is?
No.
Famicom is Japanese NES, pretty much, the Japanese version. And just like in Japanese, they had Famicom, they had Super Famicom. Like, you know how that new little NES Mini thing came out?
Yeah.
They had Famicom Mini because they don't know what an NES is in Japan.
Is that the like the red and white one? Or
yes,
something
exactly.
Like that?
So you've seen it. You've seen it before.
I
But
saw
anyway,
it recently. I saw it on Facebook, and it was like, "Hey, look, it can play all these old games." And then me and myself included, and everybody's comments were like, "That looks like horseshit. Like, I mean, the games look genuine, but
No,
it seems
it's
like you're
pretty
gonna
cool.
get, like,
It's a plug and play. It's an HDMI, but you can't on the mini.
Yeah.
You can't upload any more games.
They look like bootleg video games.
No, it's
kind
the
of a
real
thing.
games, but it's the real games. Dude, They
Yeah.
got the Mario games on there. They've got Castlevania games on there. They have good games on there.
I love Mario games, by the way.
But it's only
Love
3.
Mario.
There's only 3 of them. That's it. Not there. I should say not 3. There's only 30 games on there, and you can't change the games. Now with the Retron 5, any game you can buy, any NES games, or I should say Super NES, NES, Sega, Famicom, and Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy Color. You can play all of those games on there, and you can do it on the big screen. It's HDMI. This is Retron 5. There is a Retron 3, but the Retron 3 is not HDMI. So you have so playing it on the new TVs, it doesn't look very good. It looks very bad. You have to do a lot of weird things to try and work, or you just get yourself one of the old tube TVs that you could buy for almost nothing anymore. And I'll see some gamers, some YouTube channels of some gamers, and I could see they have like an old tube TV, like the biggest one they can find, because their old NES and things like that, the old consoles, they don't look good. It just doesn't look right. The 18-bit, 16-bit just doesn't transfer to the new widescreen, HD TVs. It just doesn't work. But the Retron 5, translates all that so you can play Super Mario, anything you want. So right now I've got and I really bought this mostly for my NES games. Like that's what I want to play. So, and I don't even have any of my old stuff. So I'm having to go back and re-buy anything I want to play. So I've got Super Mario, I think original Super Mario. I've got Jaws. I've got Elevator Action, which is a game I used to love to play. I've got Golgo 13. I've got, I can't remember. A bunch of other games. So I've really been into that lately. And then we bought my son a PS4 because he wanted, even though he's big into the gaming, he wanted a PS4 because he really likes this one Japanese game where it's a bunch of Japanese songs, and it's kind of like, and I wish I could tell you the name of this game. Sorry, I'll try and bring it next episode. I can't even pronounce the name of the game. That's why I can't remember it. Because it's truly a Japanese game. The songs are in Japanese. So it's kind of like Guitar Hero or Rock Band, but you're just doing it with a controller, and the music's on, and there's all the symbols are going, the circle, the square, the triangle, the X. They're all flying through the air in like these weird different patterns, and you have to hit them right at a certain time and try and increase your score. Like, he's super into that game. So he's mostly just playing that, but I started playing a game on there. It came with it called Uncharted.
Yeah.
And
I've never played it, but I'm familiar.
Yeah,
with
that's almost like a Tomb Raider thing, because when in PS2, dude, I was Tomb Raider. That's my game, dude. I still love Tomb Raider. So I've been playing that a little bit, but I don't really get much chance to because the PS4 is in his room. But that's pretty much my gaming history. So right now I'm just doing a lot of retro gaming. That's kind of my thing right now. I'm kind of collecting some
I gotcha.
NES games here and there and shit like that. But I still don't get that much time to play. Like, I haven't got to plug one in like a week, but I'm gonna try to today actually, since I'm off.
Hell yeah. There's so many like games out there, like especially kids nowadays, like my kids included, like they're really into, especially my son, are into like these independent video games that are just made by whoever.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going around.
Like there's Gary's Mod. There's just tons and tons of like independent.
Are these
video
computer games or are they cartridge?
Yeah, most of them are like computer games.
Okay.
Most of them. The good ones will eventually get picked up by some sort of console or something like that. But
well, you can actually make, and here's how it works. Eventually, the licensing runs out on consoles. And you could, if you had the technology and the know-how, like right now, you could make NES games, cartridge and all, and sell them online. You could make SNES games, and I think Nintendo 64 either just ran out or is about to run out. So now you'll have third-party, I guess it's really kind of like called third-party, black market if you want to make it sound really super. You'll have third-party NES, SNES, Sega Genesis, games that never existed when we were kids that people are still making. Like, you could still go find games that are still made. But see, back in the NES game days, there was a lot of third-party games even back then. There were games that were made by two different. Like, I have an Indiana Jones that was made by one company, and there's an Indiana Jones that was made by another company. The same exact damn game. was really weird because there was a lot of weird licensing stuff going on with games back then. I think they've locked a lot of that stuff down in the modern console now. But eventually, the licensing, I guess, runs out on these consoles, and third-party companies or Joe Blow, who knows how to do it, can actually make and create games for consoles on their own and sell them legally for the older consoles.
Yeah, there's a great documentary on Netflix, I think. I don't know if it's still there, but it's all about like that independent video games and how they get them on consoles and all that kind of shit. But yeah, like on Steam, there's just tons of like just independent games that you can buy or just download for free or whatever. And my son's huge on that.
Yeah, both my kids have Steam. I don't know what I guess my son really just downloaded TF2, Team Fortress 2. He plays that game. He's going, boy after my own heart. And my daughter's mostly like big into Minecraft, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh yeah, of course, Minecraft. Yeah,
have you heard of Five Nights at Freddy's? FNAF?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I was telling you about that like a year and a half ago, and you were like, I don't know what that is.
Huge into this game called Undertale, which I sat down and played with her a little bit. Man, the interface on this is horrible. I don't get why she likes this game, but man, she's so big into it. For Halloween, she wanted to be a Undertale's character, and now for MegaCon, she's just determined that she wants to be this Undertale character, Sans. It's some skeleton thing, and I'm sure some people are listening.
I'm very familiar.
Having
with
a clue, and some people are listening like having no clue what I'm talking about. I really don't have a clue what I'm talking about right now, to tell you the truth.
There's like two skeletons. Yeah, there's two different ones.
Oh, so you're familiar with the Undertale game as well?
Yeah,
the boy Rannon
watches it, or plays it, and he watches a lot of YouTube where they talk about it. There's like fan theories of that game, all kinds of. It's like Five Nights at Freddy's. Like that one's like huge, like fan theoy shit.
Well, your son, he watches a little bit of my daughter's YouTube channel, and I think my daughter watches some of your son's YouTube channel.
Yeah,
just funny. They have YouTube channels. Like I don't have a YouTube channel. Do you?
Oh yeah. I probably have like a couple of them.
Oh, that's true because of your movie stuff.
Yeah.
I have nothing. I create nothing that would anybody would want to watch on YouTube.
Well, I've even created some video game videos too, like because that's what's great about PS4 is you can start recording straight from the console with just a push of a button, and then do your audio as you're talking through it. Hey guys, welcome to another episode. And then as soon as you're done, you hit publish, and it goes straight to YouTube, and you're done.
I heard that YouTube has like an adult channel now. Like you can see some adult stuff on there.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I had heard this. I hadn't hunted it down.
Well, I know there are some videos that are explicit, and you have to be the correct age in order to view it, supposedly. YouTube really needs to start censoring their videos more, meaning, I guess is the old side of me. Like they need to go through and start put ratings on videos, because
I agree.
I'm sure you know too.
My
like
kids
the kids
are
would
hearing
go through
things they shouldn't be hearing.
Yeah, not just that too, but like you can be in your quote black hole of YouTube and just watching video, and then the next video, and you could start off watching like some cartoon or whatever, and the next video is like cartoon saying fuck every third word or whatever.
I've noticed
they need to start making it rated R, like video games are mature, or E for everyone or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what they do about that because of the way anybody can post on there. I think that makes it tough. I'm not really sure.
Well, it could be easily done. The hardest part to me, I think, would be going back through and now rating everything. From now on, they can do from now on. Now you have to rate the content, and if it's found that it's rated incorrectly, it'll get removed.
I don't know that. I don't know how they go through videos, even the ones that exist
Those
now. Because
algorithms that pick up
tens of thousands are uploaded
words
every hour. And that's the thing. I'm not sure how that works, but you're right. They do need to figure something out for sure.
I mean, there's tons of algorithms they can run through. Like a lot of them, like YouTube already has algorithms that runs through with each video that's uploaded, but like they can pick up certain keywords. I mean, I don't know if YouTube is big enough a company to support that.
Yeah, probably not. They're kind of
sarcasm.
Small. You're right. They're a little low budget.
Kind of a low budget.
You make a good point, Tach. You make a good point. There's ways they could do it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they could. All
right, man. Anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up this episode?
Hey, we have social media now.
Yes.
So let's talk about that for a second.
All right. Okay, so Do we? I know we have Twitter. Do we have Facebook
Yep,
yet?
we have Twitter. What's our Twitter handle?
Our handle is at your YOURE your 40 now what 40 being the numeral 40. So at your 40 now what.
Yep, and you can also. Sorry, I'm just pulling this up. Make sure I want to say all this correctly. And you can also, if you want to email us too, if you don't want to get a hold of us there, you can email us as well at same thing, YOURE, the number 40, now what, your 40 now what at gmail.com. And you can also follow us on the Facebook page as well.
Oh, you do have a Facebook? You didn't even
for...
tell me we had a Facebook page yet.
Yeah, I made you an admin. I figured you'd see like a notification. So.
I don't have Facebook on my new phone yet. I still haven't done that.
God.
I got to be honest with you. Facebook's just become a little annoying for me. And kind of unplugging from it a bit hasn't been so bad. I got to be honest with you. I mean...
I hear a lot of people saying this, like, oh, Facebook stresses me out. Like, why?
It doesn't stress me out. It just kind of annoys me a bit. And I just kind of don't mind being unplugged from it. But I've never been super plugged into it to begin with. Never really have. But, I mean, I have an account. Obviously, I post sometimes and things like that. But I have a tendency to use it for things that piss me off, which obviously causes a more stressful environment for me on Facebook to begin with. So I'm probably part of my own problem. But still,
definitely.
It's a place to sound off. But then other people sound off, and then that gets me annoyed because they're sounding off about things that
See, with
I don't
me,
agree with. And so it's just best for me to kind of stay away. But obviously, I'm going to get onto our channel there and make sure that we keep that up to date and interact and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see. Like, I only post positive things on Facebook. That's it. Like, I only post. I don't care if I'm in the crabbiest fucking mood or pissed off about whatever. I want to rant. I don't do it on Facebook. You have to continue to have a clean digital self, no matter what, because jobs or potential schools or grants or whatever. If you don't think they don't look at your Facebook page, you're out of your fucking mind.
This day and age, people do. Oh, I don't post anything that would get me in trouble on that end.
No, you don't. You're good. I mean, I've seen people that post horrific things.
Oh, no, I've never posted anything horrible. And I haven't posted any pictures of myself naked yet. So there's that.
Well, we can always hope still.
Yeah, there's always hope that you can see my fat, hairy ass on Facebook one day. One day. Hold out. Just hold out. It'll happen.
Yes.
All right.
So be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes.
We're not on iTunes.
So important.
Yet.
Tell your friends. Huh?
We're not on iTunes yet. Well, probably if they're listening to this, we are now.
When they're listening to this, we are on iTunes.
Good point. Good point.
This isn't live, Ron, remember?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Oh, yeah.
Subscribe, rate, and review. Please do it. It helps us out so much. It makes the show grow, and it makes iTunes go, hey, these guys may have something
Are
here.
you a shower or a grower is what we want to know.
So anything else?
Nope, that's it. I think we're good.
All right, man. Well, for You Are 40 Now What? My name is still Tach.
And I'm Ron.
And we will talk to you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. The first one was Generations, where you had the next gen kind of coming in. There was Kirk and some of the others. You didn't have even all the cast, like Spock didn't do it and things like that. But the First Contact was the one that was just them. That was actually the best one. It was an excellent movie. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, the show's good. It's got 5 hosts, but they're all millennials except one. The main guy is like our age, so. He seems to know a lot more and seems to be not as millennial-ish, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do when you're a millennial? Like, I'm going to go back and watch Iron Man and see if it still holds up.
It was movies like
freaking 9 years ago, dude.
They did like a Goofy movie was one of their movies, which that's like behind our time.
What's a Goofy movie?
It's that movie with Goofy.
Like Goofy the cartoon? Oh,
yeah.
Gorge, that guy?
Gorge,
yeah, okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Which I never saw that movie, but apparently it's like fantastic for Disney. as a Disney cartoon, because I guess you learn more about like Goofy and his personal life and why he's single with a son. You know,
Goofy is single with a son.
It's kind of a sad story.
This
I
is
guess.
an actual thing. You're not just screwing with me.
Hold on, I just got a text. So you feeling better?
Yeah, I'm getting there, man. I'm not all the way. This flu stuff has really kicked my butt, but I'm getting there, man. So, what are we talking about today, boss?
Well, as we promised on episode 2, that we were definitely going to discuss discovering your mortality.
Yeah, starting to sense it. I think we discovered it from the day we were born, but you don't really.
True, but you're not really that aware.
At a certain age, and not everybody our age has even really caught up on that. Because I have some friends in their early 40s, like our age, that isn't even anything they think about, but starting to sense your own mortality, to realize, holy crap, I am going to. Because when you're 20, you don't think about that. I mean, honestly, at least I didn't. Unless something happens in your life to make you think about that, a near-death experience, critical illness, something like that.
I even had one of those. I had like that bad, horrible car accident I was in.
Yes,
but I still never really, you know.
You feel,
you
almost feel a little
more appreciative,
invincible, and when you're in your teens, your 20s, and it was somewhere probably in my mid 30s that I started to realize, man, I'm not going to be on this earth forever. I wonder how long I'm actually going to live. When am I going to die? I mean, all this sounds really morbid, but I feel like it's a way that many of us our age, that these things.
You're listening to Your 40. Now what? Getting closer to early bird dinners, but still not quite ready to grow up. So hike up your pants, sip your latte, and get ready for the show. And now, the hosts of Your 40, Now What? Tach and Ron.
Tach, do you remember pencil break back in like the middle school days?
Definitely, man. Hell yeah.
I wonder if that was something that people played. And like everywhere, like was it like countrywide, worldwide, statewide, or was it just like a Kennedy
pretty sure it wasn't
school
just
thing?
our middle school. But
I don't know. It was fun though. You just sit there and you'd hold the pencil up in your fingers, and then somebody else would try and snap their pencil. Like kind of pull it back and snap
with
it on
their
there
pencil,
and see if you could break the pencil. But then some people like had these cheater pencils that were like bigger, and then you do things where you had a couple pencils you were trying to break. It was a serious deal back in the day, man.
Yeah, we should start up a new like pencil break club, like
Pencil
Fight Club.
Like Fight Club?
Yeah, like Fight Club.
Nah, okay, so the first thing we probably did was not to talk about it, and we just said it on a podcast.
We broke rules number 1 and 2.
All right. Let's get this thing started here, man. All right, welcome to Your 40 Now What? I am one of 2 hosts, Ron, and with me...
I am 2 of 2. I am Tach.
2 of 2. It sounds like something from Star Trek. 6 of 9.
Oh my God, you'd be excited. I was listening to a podcast that I like a lot, and it's basically a show where they watch movies that they hadn't seen since childhood, and they talk about it and see if it holds up.
They still hold up. Yeah, I'll do that sometimes. Not listen to that podcast, but I'll actually watch movies and see if it still holds up.
Yeah. The show's great. It's called Let's Rewatch. I love it. I'm going to have one of the chicks on there on another one of the podcast. But anyway, they just watched, of course, these are millennials, so everything's from the 90s, So they just watched Star Trek. It's one of the Next Generation movies.
Movies or shows?
Movies.
Okay. Most of those, I mean, I'm a huge Next Gen fan, huge. Most of those were not phenomenal. They should have just kept making shows. But go ahead.
I'm trying to remember which. I'm looking it up right now. It's First Contact.
Yeah, that was actually the best one. That wasn't officially start to creep into our head, but how do we let it affect our lives, and how much do we kind of live our life around these thoughts, or how much do we even think about it? Like, how much do you actually think about it?
Oh God, it definitely started somewhere around 40. About a year or 2 ago, maybe.
So even a little later for you than for me. Because I was probably more 37, 38, and I started kind of thinking about it.
But I don't think mine was so much because I think it was a little bit about turning 40, but I was also going through a lot of different things at the time. Like, for instance, I had just gone through, my mother had passed away like 2.5 years ago from cancer. And so I basically was dealing with that every single day and just watching her die. And so that kind of, basically I got kind of like a PSTD from that. PTSD, excuse me.
Okay.
PTSD.
Yeah, I guess I
from
can say
that.
that. I don't know much about PTSD, but I'm guess it used to be that people would think that was only something you really got from war, but it's just something you get from
You can get it
stressful
from anything.
situations, I assume.
Yeah. And so that dealing with me being single and living alone, basically, I get my kids every other weekend or whatever, summers, things like that, Christmas break. But I spent a lot of time alone.